Hey guys, hope you are well and are having a wonderful Christmas holiday. Today I want to answer a question I've got from one of you. What is the best first Fujifilm camera for a former DSLR shooter out of X-T4, X-Pro 3 and X100V? Originally I replied in writing, but I think it makes sense to make a video on this subject. There may be more of you with similar dilemmas, and such questions motivate me to think about these topics in a new way. So thank you for the inspiration, dear former DSLR shooter, and let's get to it. You said you are not a vlogger and are planning to use the camera for stills and documentary photography, family portraits, occasional street photo walk, snapshots of food and for traveling. That is quite a wide range of subjects, so let's have a quick look at these three cameras and see what are their pros and cons and how would they satisfy a former DSLR shooter. In the last couple of years, Fujifilm have done a good job of throwing a number of great cameras on the market. When you look at Fujifilm camera lineup, you will see they are targeting every type of photographer, and they have been consistent in making each of the camera type more or less different from the others. It's most obvious when you look at the X-Pro 3 and the X-T4. Two very different cameras, yet sharing a lot of internal technology like sensor and processor, and the same design philosophy by using physical dials and controls. So let's start with the X-T4, and let me get something absolutely clear, because I don't think it came out in my video dedicated to this camera well enough. The X-T4 is a bomb in terms of photo and video capabilities. For someone equally interested in these two areas of visual creativity, it's a no-brainer. Its eyepiece works very well with unstabilized lenses, and improved autofocus tracks subjects with ease. My biggest gripe is with the fully articulated screen, which is not ideal for low-level shooting, but the screen can be put flat against the camera body, which allows for easy check-per-shot style of shooting and quick use of the camera menus. For comfortable waist or low-level shooting, we would need the screen from the X-T3, which would be a cheaper alternative if running on handheld video is out of the question. On the other hand, the bigger battery in the X-T4 is a serious plus and should be taken into consideration. The X-Pro 3 is a camera I bought myself. The screen is great for waist and low-level shooting, and it's probably the quickest to open, but due to its design it does not allow for easy check-per-shot workflow. It can become a hindrance if you are used to that style of shooting, so it's better to stop doing that completely if you decide to get this camera. You can always have the camera set up to show you the last photo in EVF briefly after taking the shot, but this is not what the X-Pro 3 is about. This is a camera for photographers who welcome these limitations because they force them to focus on the process of taking photographs. The optical viewfinder is even more about that, and since buying the camera I have been starting to understand its purpose and use case. It's a different experience altogether. The ISO dial is the least ideal from these three cameras because the ring does not stay up when pulled, but you can always set it to C and use the front roller in situations when you need to change ISO often. It depends on how you like to shoot, because this camera will force you to use it in a certain way, which may not be for everyone. The smallest of the bunch, the X100V, has got a lot of attention on this channel, and I'm absolutely okay with that. It's the one camera I can recommend to almost everyone. It just has it all, including built-in ND filter, high sync flash, tilting touchscreen, super sharp lens, well implemented physical controls including ISO dial, and all of that comes in a beautifully designed weather-sealed body. The only problem for a former DSLR shooter could be a slightly smaller viewfinder and fixed 35mm equivalent lens. Talking about design and overall toughness of these cameras, the X-Pro 3 feels rock solid. All materials used are of top quality, starting with titanium top and bottom plates and ending with all rollers and buttons which feel like they will last a lifetime. Shutter button is the best I've used, both in terms of sound and feel. The camera is so nicely made that it gets compliments even from people who are not interested in photography at all. Also, my first impression when unpacked was, wow, this is nice. The X-T4 did not have this wow factor for me. It feels like I am holding a serious camera for a professional photographer who needs to do their job at the top level. And as I said in the dedicated video, there are some questionable materials used on some levers and also the camera grip, but I doubt these will have any impact on performance or how long will the camera last. It's just cosmetics and feel in hand, which has nothing to do with the output or durability. The X100V, as mentioned, is weather sealed when used with the additional filter adapter. It's very well built, but still feels the most fragile out of these three cameras. Probably because it's so small. Now, I have to admit I'm a fan of rangefinder style camera bodies. It is much more comfortable for me to just put the viewfinder next to my big nose and shoot this whale while checking surroundings with my left eye if I need to. And I am willing to accept some limitations in the camera design and features for the ability to shoot this way. I would not recommend the X100V to someone who is used to changing lenses, and I would also not recommend the X-Pro 3 as a first camera of the Fujifilm X system. The learning curve with the X-Pro 3 is too steep and limitations are too big. I would say a former DSLR shooter will be most comfortable with a DSLR style camera body, and so if that is you, then you should stick with it. You can later throw the X100V in the mix for some fun, but I would rather use that money to buy one or two good lenses. The 16 to 55mm f2.8 zoom was amazing on the X-T4, but also the combination of X-T3 with the 16 to 80mm f4 zoom will do wonders, especially if your budget is less generous. Just remember, we all have our specific needs, and it's easy to forget how important these are and get lost in spec sheets and other people's opinions, including mine. I hope this video helped you in your search for a perfect camera. It is not easy to find one, but we couldn't live in a better time. There are so many options out there equally capable that we actually can find one camera that fits us perfectly. I truly believe so. Let me know what your perfect camera is in the comments below. Have a nice day, and I will see you in 2021.